Alright, so about a little over 4 months of work on this, which is much quicker than I've ever done a Millennium like this. I guess just practice makes perfect. It's plugged in, ready to go. The one minor thing I gotta say is the two little tiny guns are missing here in the antenna. The parts troll took them. I don't know if you guys know about this, but there's certain vortexes even in the studio. And if a part falls into one, you'll never find it again. I've been on my hands and knees. I've had tiny vacuum cleaners. You can't do it. So I don't know, the kid is going to come in today, but I need to do the video. Because Steve and I are going out for boys' night tonight, and we're going to have some fun. No. All right, so risque. So what I want to do is point out a few things. Now, on the TIE fighter that's receiving the laser, what I figured out over the years is mirrors and lasers just love each other. You know, I mean, I basically used the case in the original Enterprise build. When the laser went through the glass, it prismated all over the place and did a Tholian web thing, which I wasn't sure if it would work or not. It wasn't completely planned, but I thought it could. And glorious, just glorious. If you watch those videos, you'll see what I mean about sometimes brilliant mistakes happen, you know, sometimes. And what I did is I got one of my tiny refraction mirrors that I use for lasers or for bouncing light around, and I crushed it. And I got myself a whole bunch of little tiny fleckles of mirror. And then I proceeded to drop them in a little bit of epoxy around that wing. So what happens is when the laser hits that cluster of glass, which also is lighted with a red LED, but that's only for when you're not firing the laser to give you a sort of impression of a hot melt point. But when it hits that, you ain't gonna see that red LED because it's a starburst of green laser, which is what I wanted. I was trying to do it with fiber optics, and it looked like fiber optics in a cluster, and this worked out so much better. I was asleep one night, I woke up thinking, crushed mirror. And that's the way it works sometimes when your subconscious is working on a problem. I go to bed for like 3-4 hours, I wake up and bam, I've got the answer. Not every time, but more often than I find it easy to believe. Kind of interesting the way the brain works. The mind, it's a terrible thing. So, alright, so there's your motors. And again, these base tiles that I'm going to close in on are a kit now. You can buy one at $20, but the more you buy, the cheaper they become. I think like 12 or 100 something. And if you want a whole set of 18, that's about a couple $100. And the cannons are separate items that you can get with tall towers, short towers, but really cool. Anyways, there's the Millennium, and in the dark will be much better. There's that red detail on there which shows scorch, and when the laser hits that, boy, it's a nice little light show. Lighting in the base, of course, the Millennium all built up, and it has the decals now too. I finished that off. And I guess we'll move on to showing you some darkroom stuff. Real fun looking display. And I know Robert Kennedy's going to be pretty happy with this. I'm sure the mailmans you have are going to be tortured now. You always drag them in the house and show them my stuff. I wish they could afford my stuff. Or else I'd have way more clients. Mailmen all over. Alright, so here it is in the dark. Obviously, much more impressive. And the guns activate with their own button, which is kind of a cool feature. And the lasers I'll save for last. Let's take a look at some of the stuff. Let me step behind the camera here. And here we go. Now, the lighted sections, I got red, blue, and red. This one here was supposed to be where they dropped that torpedo. So I gave it kind of a powering, lightning, sort of strobing effect. It's actually called a flutterer. And I'll change views, but there's that hot point. Come on, focus, little darling. Hot point on the TIE fighter, which is for, oh, come on. It's not that bright. No, it's pretty bright. There we go, a little better. And there are several details, for instance, holes in the wings and all. You know what? I'm going to get our little checkerboard out that doesn't stop being annoying. There you go. Heard that, see? Knows what it's be. And, of course, the Millennium Falcon with its engine's effects. And I'll move positioning here. And the gun pod, as it's called, all lit up. And the guns have been locked in position. I've also figured out how to ship this puppy without disassembling it too much. Actually, I'm not a 2-boxer, might be, but that'd be more expensive for my client. I try to be logical and save them money. I also wanted to send them a can of FX smoke, but that will delay the process because then it has to go strictly ground rather than air to ground. So, Robert, I'll send you a link for that. You can also take up smoking, but I don't think you should do that. All right, let me change position. Moving on. All right, so here's a more forward shot, which is an excellent one for viewing what the laser does. Wrong button. See what I mean about luminescence? Now you can still make out a little red when you're in front of it, but not a whole lot. But there it is. And when it hits the cluster of mirror, crushed mirror, boy, it just looks like a real impact. It's really a cool thing. Not CG, real. And you'll see the screen is probably quavering a bit because that laser effect's bouncing all over the place. Very cool. You can also see the TIE fighters are lit in red. And the little missing guns on this. Well, you'll never see it. Don't worry about it. Cool, huh? That's a great one. And of course, you can view this thing even towards the back because the brace that holds the Falcon doesn't take up a lot of room. It's just well balanced. Moving on. Alright, so here's a more rear shot where you can see some of the blue of the motor. It's not as bright as some of the ones I've done, but using the ILM grill, which has many overlaps and all that, it is gorgeous. And unfortunately, the camera's not really revealing the color. It's a much deeper, denser royal blue. And here, we'll proceed a little bit forward here. Let me see. Steve's down here. I'm doing my best. There's the two TIE fighters on the run. The red melting point, which I thought was a nice touch. You can't fire the lasers for more than a few seconds at a time. There's the rotating fan blades, which of course without the frame rate, and I don't know what to adjust this to. I've tried a couple things. I'm not very good at that. And they actually look like they're turning. So let's take a look at that laser strike. And there's a lot of detail, battle damage detail on a TIE fighter wing. I'll show you that. And they're highlighted in streaked silver and a whole lot prettier than just jet black or anything like that. I believe in wear and tear when you're out in space. The other side, man, all those landing lights. I didn't even use super brights. I used ultra brights, but super brights are brighter. And oh my God, I wish I cut down the voltage, but it's kind of cool. And you know, landing lights should be very bright. Ooh, tripod tipping a little bit there. And a whole lot of detail. My God. And you can see here the wing on the TIE fighter. Boys, that got a lot of damage. Very cool. I spent a lot of time on details. I believe that even those really tiny things, which is why you won't find a lot of errors on my models, I just sweat it. I don't want anything going out I'm not proud of. And back here, I don't know if you can tell. Yeah, right there you can see it. I signed the piece. Because Robert's a big one for having me sign things. Hell, we stopped in Dallas just to sign my Jupiter 2 I made for him. Which I know he loves. Alright, let's move on. Now here's a nice forward view. And the TIE fighter pilots are very nicely detailed. There's a lot of steel details. They're kind of small. I'm having trouble focusing in on them. And look at the damage on this guy. Come on. See? That checkerboard really helps. I mean, within limitations, of course. And without scratching the hell out of anything else. But there we go. Oh boy. Yeah, not beyond its abilities. With silver detailing, some blast effect, Very nice. In the dark. Now you can see even the red light prismates on the mirrored surfaces. So even if you're not using the laser, there is a cool effect. Warp beams, all kinds of cool stuff. So now let me sort of replace it where it was. And we'll do one last laser shot on this guy. And, oh boy. Oh, in the cockpit here. And of course, right behind is our Millennium Falcon coming in for the kill. Awesome cockpit. I love Farrah graphics, man. They just really make that thing pop. Alright, so let's even more this way. So we really get a good blast. Hopefully it won't destroy the camera. And let's see what we got here. Dun, 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 dun. Pow! See what I'm saying? Totally cool effect. Now, I realize there weren't lasers on the Millennium Falcon. People keep going, there's no laser. Shut up. But there were missile bays right there. So take it as a really bright missile trail. But look at that. Flashy, flashy. I couldn't reproduce that in a million years. That is so cool. So kids, I hope you enjoy the little video. Next time we'll be moving on to the chest burster from Alien or Aliens. And then I believe it's the flamethrower and then a Zat gun from Stargate, which is the 3 projects that David Hedrick wanted. And I gave him the 3 slots, but that's all he gets for now because it's your turn next. See ya!